for being here. Really appreciate it. As always, I'm getting back on the train. Excuse the squeaky chair. Thought it would be a good idea, but I seem to need to upgrade. So I'm going to get on with it. This is for Gemini, and it's for the month of December, going into January. Take what resonates, leave what does not. It's guidance through tarot, but it's guidance of the energies that I'm picking up on, that cards pick up on, and how they're applicable. I thought I would just get back on the train to, get something easy, the zodiac signs, so that people can take a little bit from all of them, if you like. They're the energies around us, but also take some specifics maybe for the zodiac sign that you belong to. So Gemini is my sign, the twins, and a lot of us Geminis have had a tough road, same as Sagittarius, in this cycle. So, it's good that we're warriors because of that, a lot of us. And so, it is what it is. We are where we are. And Geminis tend to recognize that really well, for the most part, and take it on board and eventually push past the glass ceilings that are put in front of the growth. So yeah, leave a comment, share, like, subscribe. I really appreciate that. It makes it worth it, and it really does fight back with the algorithms of YouTube. I've had violations on my channel for years now. They won't take them off. I know they've usually got a time line, a time amount, of what they stay on for. Who knows? Because they just won't take them off. So there's 2 violations on there, and they're going through my videos because another couple got deleted off. So catch them while you can. Look at my Utopia series. It's way back when. I'm not very technically astute now, but I was very definitely not technically able. Very much technically disabled. So you've seen my growth, the people who've been with me from the start. It's a challenge, but I try. But I'm learning more and more. So excuse the technique, excuse the recording, but it hits some. I hit something there. The shadow banning, the violations, and just the not very big channel didn't get it out there. But it hit something, and it's still apparent and current today. So check out that series of videos before they take those down. If they haven't already. I haven't gone through my channel, I'll be quite honest. I just keep seeing the notifications every time I do come on. So Gemini, for the month of December, going into January, let's look at what the energies are bringing forward for you. Take what resonates, leave what does not. There is no offense taken, but do leave a comment and press the thumbs up, thumbs down. I think it all counts. At this point, I'm not quite sure. So we have 3 cards. The bottom of the deck, the underpinning energy is a major arcana. There seems to be a pattern with these major arcanas thus far anyway. And so in small readings, there's a lot of major energy here, Gemini, and we wouldn't be us if there wasn't, We get a bit bored when there isn't. So this is the strength card. You can see the infinite symbol, the infinity symbol above her head. This is the balance, the yin and yang, the divine feminine, divine masculine, balanced together in the 2 hemispheres of the brain, represented very much so because it is above her head. She wears nature's crown, but you can see here she isn't wrestling with this lion. She's prizing this huge beast's jaws open, just with grace, with poise, with gentleness. And so this really represents the divine feminine, divine masculine balance within, and the infinite dance that they do. And in your greatness, it's when they really do dance like that infinity symbol. Just if you imagine it moving, like imagine lights around that infinity symbol on a video loop, and it's moving around that loop, meeting in the middle where necessary, but balancing those 2 parts of self, divine feminine, divine masculine. Whether you're male or female, it's very different to sexuality or anything, or gender or anything like that. This is divine spiritual energy, the same sort of divine physical energy that brought you in here, the balance of the male, everything is reflecting in on everything, as above, so below, and all the layers in between. So she's prizing open this beast's jaws, and this beast is allowing it to control the jaw. And now the lion would represent the divine masculine, and this is where the impulses to take action, the impulses to go out and hunt, the impulses to have that divine masculine force. Whereas the divine feminine is the poise and grace, and she's the time keeper when everything is in balance. She keeps her cycles with the moon. She keeps her gestation for giving birth right to the point. There are very different stages that her body keeps to well. So she does represent in the divinity sphere that timing, that poise, that grace. So she is actually actioning the divine masculine aspect of self. She's holding the jaws until the right time, and she's not fighting with herself doing that, and the lion isn't fighting with himself doing that. They're working together in unison, no one above the other, working in balance, that yin and yang, that infinite symbol, that infinite dance. Now, when this is going wrong, we see it from a wider stage, and a lot of Geminis will understand this, is that the first thing these colonizers, this hijack that didn't happen as long ago, is they like to try and make us think. They even tell us it didn't in a lot of ways. The organized religion aspect, when that came in, rather than groundedness in the nature around you and the spirituality within, the connection between you and the animals that you live amongst, both so-called human and beast. The divine feminine energy was reflected in this physical realm by the high priestess, by the mothers that kept the cycles, that kept the families going, that breastfed both their male and female children, that brought on both sides of the reflection of the divine feminine, divine masculine in the physical form. Organized religion knocked that off, and it took our strength away. So we've got a lot of men taking actions against women, a lot of men taking actions that get themselves into trouble, because that was the trap set for both men and women. There was the demonization of woman in all of the biblical texts. The healers were made out to be witches. The alchemists of any one village was made out to be a high priestess in a way of, not in the way that she's always been recognized, but in a way of a toxic female monster that could get you, if you upset her. She's to be feared. And so they've got a lot of us fearing those two parts of self, and actually warring with those two parts of self, that actually that divine nature would then be reflected in balance through those two hemispheres of the brain, through then the words that we use, the actions that we take to ourselves and others. They've got it all out of whack. So they took away the matriarch who held the poise and grace and timing for things, the season for things. And then the male felt comfortable to then be in its role in a divine way, in a both spiritual way and divine masculine way, not needing to have that violent outburst when not necessary, because the divine feminine nature within that male would give that male. So it's nothing to do with female, male. I know a lot of you know that, but just in case for any new people, or just to refresh even the message, that it is really difficult in this realm right now to see through a lot of the illusions and a lot of the conditioning. It's a good reminder to maintain that divine balance, that divine dance, that infinite dance with self, rather than having the two warring factions of self, like the two warring sides of the brain, the creative and the strategic, and the spiritual and the logical, rather than them dancing together and creating something far more um, deep, far more uh, authentic and raw, far more, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Balanced, that's not the word I'm trying to think of, but you know what I mean. When we can remind ourselves of that, even with all of the other things outside of ourselves that are pulling us to have that. And that's part of that strength card, isn't it? That's part of the name of that card, to have strength in your divine feminine, divine masculine nature, and also the balance of that and how that is balanced out within your body, and also then the balance of that with your words and your actions. It takes a lot of strength to be poised. It takes a lot of strength to not be on the attack, and conversely, it takes a lot of strength to not be the victim. And so that balance is a difficult thing to maintain at any one given time or moment. Right now, it's particularly difficult, and I think Geminis have really been through so much, particularly the last few years. Those who put their head above, tried to warn, tried to guide, tried to do what they knew was required of them from within themselves. It's sort of it's like putting a sword in the fire and banging it and banging it and banging it, but making a strong weapon. And the sword, the word, the sword is your word, and the word is your sword. Geminis are really good at that generally anyway, but with this strength being really hammered into us, and it's difficult to have strength not to react, either to react from an emotional standpoint or a physical standpoint. And we're being really pushed and pulled and triggered into getting reactions right now, that this is paramount, and it's a great message for Geminis, but everybody in general. So we go on to the reading, that being the underpinning energy. And within that balance, it comes into the Empress card, another major arcana, another big energy. And so the three Empress, number three, that Trinity, how's that showing up on the screen? So you see here, she's got her crown. She's adorned by nature. Her throne is in nature. Everything is fertile around her. There's a hidden aspect to her with her feet, with a lot of the major arcanas, but there's a tiny bit of a red shoe showing. And so there's a real emergence of this energy coming through for the Geminis. And it speaks of, we can see like the pineal gland cone tree there behind her, that's oddly shaped. It's symbolic that it's there. She has her orb and a sphere. She has her throne. She has the corn around her, the golden, the fields of gold. The abundance, the provision is what it is. She has the sunny sky behind her, and her crown is made and adorned with stars. She is the etherical, divine, feminine aspect of the tarot. And with the three, it's your thoughts, your words, your deeds create the reality that you exist in. And so this for me personally as a Gemini is something that I've got to continuously work on being in this life cycle, in this space where I'm at now, to give in, to self-neglecting at times, and I've got to really draw it in to putting my thoughts, words, and deeds into self too. And I think that's a message for a lot of Geminis at this current period of time. So remember, your thoughts, your words, your deeds create your reality. She's grounded, she's fertile, her legs are open, but she's shawled, and she's shawled with what does she have on her on this card? So it's like a poppy, a rose. It's a rose. She's fertile. She's again of this grace, of this poise, of this balance. She has one hand on her knee, and that's bringing me, I've forgotten which sign is connected with the knee. hit me up in the comments with that, because there's something there for somebody regarding that. That you know, I'm noticing the hand on the knee very much so, and you know, the different zodiac points connecting to different points of the body. Again, everything reflecting in on everything, as above so below, and all of the layers between. So yeah, let's go on. The next card is the Four of Pentacles. This card winds me up because this card is it's a bugbear of mine. It's a challenge of mine that I have to keep meeting. It's something that I have to keep working on. So there's certain aspects of this card that usually don't resonate with me, but there's other aspects of this card, and I think, not you again. It's one of those cards. We've all got them. So in this Four of Pentacles, you can see here, he is also on a throne, but it's not a throne. It's really a chair, or it's a box, or it's a crate. And he's got his coins, yes, he's got his robe, so he seems to have some sort of provision. But his passion is being blocked by this sort of darkened cloak, that red color underneath. There's very little heart chakra color with that very fine line of green ribbon on the bottom, green edging on the bottom, and he's holding all coins, one on his head, you know, one in his hands, is coveting it the way he's holding it, and two under his feet. And this can be of a miserly energy, in that with that Empress card coming beforehand, this is the bit in the middle that needs to be worked on in this minor arcana. Pentacles are the provision, the physical provision, the home, you know, in this realm, the bills, the finance, the physical people around you, the things that you can feel, touch, and see clearly as physical form, or you can buy something that is physical with the things that are oddly etherical now, without the gold and without the coins. It's without the money in general. You know, it's all card. They've managed to do that somehow, that switcheroo that I talked about coming a long time ago, where they were moving physical money, not only from gold to then coins to then paper to then, so they're actually putting less value into what money actually physically is, but they've done this weird switcheroo as to how much that, you know, unseen money but seen on a statement, you know, just digits and numbers, means, and the status that it gives you now. It's a funny thing that they've actually made it cheaper for them to provide this way of us living here, this you know, money type standard, and they've managed to still, like, you know, cheap, I don't know, cheap factory line goods. Just they've managed to make it less valuable while telling us it's more valuable and harder to get and harder to keep, and crazy. So this energy is of an energy for, in this reading, of there's a sticking point here. Are you doing enough of those thoughts, words, deeds create your reality? Are you doing enough of that? It might be that you're doing all of these deeds, all of these good deeds, putting yourself out there, making yourself available with your gifts and talents, wherever you can be, wherever you can infuse some positivity into the environment or the people around you, but then you're still maybe slipping up on the thoughts of having to covet, having to keep a certain aspect, because you know you've been in the shit for a bit, you know, you've been in the red for a bit, or you know, so you start to try and hold on to stuff. An analogy that's coming through, which is, I don't know where it's coming from, it's probably a weird TikTok or something like that, but I'm sure it was a comedy strip. It's coming across in my mind's eye as a comedy strip anyway. And it's like people who are down on the luck financially, or struggling financially, you'll look in their medicine cupboard and they've got like useless medicine that is out of date. But also current medicine that is the same medicine. So you would think, you know, that the good thing is to keep things in flow, you know, don't keep clutter, don't hoard too much excess physical things. It actually starts to stifle you. And so, but it's that mentality of, because you've been in either such lack before or are currently going through this lack, which isn't hard to do right now, let's face it. You know, you look in cupboards like that and you realize that, oh shit, you know, that's part of the consciousness of not knowing the universe is providing, not knowing that I am capable of providing just through my words, never mind deeds, just through my thoughts, never mind the third aspect, the deeds aspect. But then it's through the deeds, through the actions of saying, you know what, I just know that I'm going to keep the medicine in date, but all of the other medicine goes out. So I can actually, in times of need, look through the medicine herbal cabinet and actually see what I'm doing, see what I'm getting. That's just an example of how the energies are coming forward for me for the Geminis this month. Yeah. And that's not to go about prepping. Actually, that's the opposite end of the spectrum, in that prepping in a way that's enjoyable and you're learning or you're remembering old wisdom of how different herbs work, how different jams can be preserved, how different honeys can be preserved, how different meats can be preserved. That's all like, as long as you're having fun with that, I don't mean that. And as long as it's not making your livable conditions difficult. You know, the hoarders that make livable conditions very dangerous at times, like fire hazard type. It's a different energy. I just needed to drop that in there. The next card this chair is the Temperance card, another major arcana. So as you can see here, the Temperance is angelic. He, it's angelic. So there's 1 foot in the water there, and there's 1 foot in the on the ground, touching the ground. And I want you to take notice of the sun, because that became very apparent to me. You see how the frequency is hitting the ground and going right down to the water, infusing the water with the creative energy of the sun, the warming energy of the sun. And to me, I saw that today when I've pulled this card as the warming up of the water through the frequencies that the sun's putting out. So even like the word temperance, the water is tepid, it's balanced, it's blood temperature, it's a part of you. It's not a shock to the system, either hot or cold. It's tepid. These frequencies feed in this water, and that goes to speak again about, what are you feeding the water that you're drinking, the water that is within you, being made up of mostly water? What balance, what temperance, what self-restrictions are you putting on the thoughts of self-doubt, the thoughts of not being able to command the universe through your thoughts, your words, your deeds, of the Empress card? And that Strength card with the 2 divine aspects. The Temperance card comes in with that also, in that it takes this balance, this divine balance, this divine alchemy, where you are pouring one chalice to another, and it's right across the heart chakra. The how you feel, the what are you infusing in the waters that are represented, the waters from within these 2 chalices. Where is the balance? Um, where is the uplifting frequency? Where is the self-restriction to not limiting self, but being able to take time also to transmute the energies that aren't serving, to be able to not ignore them, think about them, process them, transmute them, and actually know that by your command, through your projection, through that heart chakra, that energy point, with that Empress card in the front, that you can absolutely infuse that energetic form of flow that you're being the alchemist with, exchanging them from one to the other, and allowing it to be like a circuit board. You're even exchanging that alchemy with the ground and the soil, and then the sun's getting involved with the frequencies. It is an alchemy card. With that Empress at the start, it is about breaking through. This is the action that needs to be broken through. This is the action that needs to be looked at, of recognizing the power that you've got at both ends of your spectrum. dealing with that middle bit and the balance, and it does take strength to do that, to break through the glass ceiling. But I've got to say, there's a relaxation about this, that there's something about this time where Geminis are calling in their bliss, they're calling in their abundance, they're calling in their sustenance, they're calling in and not from any one place, just from the ether around them. And there's this action that needs to be taken in the middle, but actually the energies that are all around that middle card, that Four of Pentacles, speak of that action being able to be taken in a very, very powerful way. So anyway, that's the reading for Gemini for December going into January. I really appreciate you listening. The like, shares, comments. Thank you in advance for those. Let's rage against that machine and give it some love, kill it with kindness and just carry on regardless. Love you all. Much love, balance, and wholeness.